Hello, Julie. How are you today? Do you have your coffee?
Yes, I do. Well, I've
Oh,
actually got
good.
I
Okay.
got my tea.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's afternoon, so I can drink any coffee any time of day and I'm fine. So this is really awesome. So Julie and I decided that we would come and we would make a video and just kind of have a little coffee chat about what's going on in our town. And we are involved in the Raymond Republican Town Committee, and we meet once a month. And if you want more information on that, you can contact Julie. Julie, what's your email address?
My email is my name. It's Julie Lochner, which is LAUGHNER at
Okay.
Comcast.net.
Okay. So they can contact you or me. My email is normancindy13 at gmail.com. And so we're available to answer questions of anyone who might have questions about this video or what the Republicans are doing in town or anything we can help people with. But we just wanted to make a video for RCTV and just share with people what's coming up. I mean, today is October 29th, right? And we have an election coming up November 8th,
November
right?
8th. Yep.
It's coming up
November 8th.
quickly. Yeah.
It sure is.
So
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 I'll
it's voting
introduce
day.
myself a little bit just for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that don't know me in Raymond. I've lived in Raymond since 1994. I have 3 kids who are grown up now, and I homeschooled them. And I go to St. Joseph Church in Epping. And right now in town, I'm the chair of the Raymond Republican Committee, and Cindy is the vice chair. And I'm also on the budget committee. And I'm kind of newly involved in town. I haven't been real involved except for the past couple of years since the 2020 election. I got a lot more involved. So we're hoping that more people want to get involved in town and try to
Right,
make it better.
right, right. And I've really enjoyed getting to know different people in town since I'm kind of new to all of this as well. But Julie and I have known each other for years because we homeschooled at the same time. And I'm not sure when I first met you, it may have been at the library.
Yes, it might have been story
Yeah.
time. Yep.
When our kids were in story time and we were homeschoolers, and then through that my daughter ended up teaching violin to your daughter, so that's
Yep.
really cool. So we've
Yep.
known each other and we've just kind of reconnected and we have similar beliefs and passions, and it's been really awesome to work with you, Julie, the last couple years or so.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I
you,
think it was
Cindy.
I think it was your suggestion that I would try out for the school board, and I never thought I would make it, but here I am.
Yeah, it was
And
close.
yeah, I wasn't really up for the budget committee. That is really big responsibility, but I really appreciate that you stepping up to do that and some others that are new to that as well. It's a lot to learn. It's a big
Yes, there is.
responsibility. So
There is.
we wanted to talk a little bit about like what's going on to get ready for November 8th. And in our town we have 3 state reps that are running. I know Kevin Pratt, he's been a state rep for how many years?
I
Quite a
think this
while.
might be I think maybe this is his 3rd time running. So
Okay.
he's been there either 4 or 6 years. I'm not sure how many.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I remember him from all the great little field trips we took to the fire station, and he was always happy to show the kids around,
Yes, he
he's just
was.
been a great part of our town history. I tell people that he was the he's the chief, right?
Fire
He
chief,
was the chief
yes.
fire chief.
Yeah.
And he was there forever, I say, but it hasn't really been forever, but as
Right.
long
He's
as
not the
I've
current fire chief. I'm not sure how long he's been retired, but he was in
yeah,
that position a long time. He knows everybody in town pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah, he's awesome. And he's very conservative in his views. So I really appreciate his input and his insight. So, And then one of the other reps running is Tim Cahill, and he's pretty well known around town. I know he's an amazing gardener, and he likes to do like preppers and stuff like that. So appreciate him stepping up. He
Yeah,
serves on some committees.
he encouraged me to make a bigger garden this year, and I wouldn't have done it without his encouragement. And I did end up getting quite a few butternut squash out of it.
Oh, that's awesome. My
Yeah.
squash did terrible this year, but I got tomatoes and cucumbers and lots of lettuce and kale. So cucumbers were fun to grow. I'm hoping to have a bigger garden next year, but yeah, he's encouraged me to do some gardening as well. And he encouraged me to start small, just like grow something, you know, and once you're successful, then it's like exciting to try something else.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So, and Mike Drago, he's pretty awesome. He's kind of a new friend of mine.
Yes, he is. He's a young dad. He has 4 kids. He's a part owner of East Coast Outdoors, which is a landscaping company right in Raymond. And he's running for state rep because he wants to make a difference in this town.
Yeah, and he's really good. Like he's a family man. He's also a business owner. So he has a lot of heart invested in this. And I really appreciate him stepping up as a young person. You know, stepping into a representative role is a big responsibility. And obviously he must have backing from his company, because he will end up having to take some time out, you know, during those months when the reps have to give a lot of time to the effort. So I'm really excited about what's going to happen when he gets to be one of our reps, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I love how he listens to, you know, what the people say. When I meet up with him and I talk to him, he always listens, and he's willing to hear what we have to say and see what he can do about it. So I really appreciate that.
Yes, he's very thoughtful. He has a lot of ideas. I'll move on to state senate.
Okay.
So our state senate candidate that won the primary was Michael Yakubovich, but unfortunately he got sick. So he had to drop out of the race. So he won't be on the ballot in November. I do want to encourage people to pray for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he and the Republican Party agreed on Keith Murphy. Keith Murphy will be on the ballot November 8th, and he's a business owner. He owns Murphy's Tap House. I think he has at least 2 locations, and he was a state rep from 2010 to 2018. And so he has experience being in Concord. He doesn't have experience in the Senate, but he knows how it all works. And I have a little card. I don't know if you can see that with the sun. Keith Murphy for state senate. He has a family, and I'll just give you his website. It's keithmurphy4nh.com. So the number 4, keithmurphy4nh.com, if you want to check him out.
That's awesome. Yeah, my heart goes out to Michael Yakubovich. We heard him speak in one of our meetings, and he's a amazing person. He's worked hard as a representative, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he's very conservative, and he was really doing great. And then my heart broke when I heard that he was sick. So yeah, definitely keep him in our prayers. And he was really good to choose someone to take his place, and it seems like it was a good thing. And it seems like the people that were working for Michael Yakubovich are also now working for Keith, and I've seen them on the corner. And even just today, I was able to meet some of his one of his representative, well, just a person, you know, holding his sign, but just they're supporting his efforts. And I really appreciate how everybody kind of rallied together. Even though they didn't get their original candidate, they're still rallying together for the new candidate. And
that's true.
I think it's really cool how this kind of thing can bring people together and just kind of unite us as citizens, you know, when we work to help someone in this kind of situation. So
That's true.
yeah. So if anybody who's watching this would be interested in joining the ranks of helping out with supporting candidates, supporting our efforts in Raymond, whatever it is, there's always a place for new volunteers.
Definitely. And you mentioned
Okay.
the sine wave. We've been
Yes.
having a sine wave. We took a couple weeks off after the primary, but pretty much for, I don't know, a couple of months, we've had a sine wave across the street on the corner across from Hannaford and Raymond. And this morning there were a lot of people there, and Janet Stevens actually came herself.
Oh
She's,
yeah. I've never met
yeah,
her in person.
yep. She's very approachable. She is our current executive counselor. And if you ever have any questions, you can email her and she'll respond to you. She really is very responsive to her constituents. And the executive council, it's funny because the executive council position, a lot of people don't even know about it. They were saying that her campaign, one of her campaign people said that they've been going around door knocking for her, and a lot of people don't even know what the executive council is. So the executive council is a 5-member board that approves large state contracts. So the governor in New Hampshire doesn't actually have as much power as most governors in other states. So when he meets to approve contracts, he has to meet with the executive council, and it has to be a majority vote. So they have a lot of power, and she's running for executive council in our district. She covers the Seacoast area, which covers which covers Raymond.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's amazing how many things we don't know when we think we do, right? We think we're going to vote, and I know I've been guilty of that. Sometimes I don't even know the people on the ballot. And that's why we're making this video, because we want people to be informed, you know, and just meeting up with people, asking questions, and just trying to make a little bit of headway in who's who, and being able to just familiarize yourself with the system in New Hampshire and who is in each position makes a big difference. And when you know, then you can tell other people. And that's what's so cool about it.
Right.
So,
and I'll just give her her website address. Her website address is janetstevens4nh.com. Also the number 4. So janetstevens4nh.com. And if you go to her webpage, you can sign up for her email newsletter. And then you'll really know what's going on and what she's doing and what the executive council's been doing.
Right. Very good. Okay. So are we ready to move on to the next?
Yes.
Okay. So on a national level, we have Catherine Levitt. Oh, she is amazing.
Caroline Levitt, you mean?
Caroline. I'm sorry, Caroline. I knew I had that wrong. Thank you. I have her sticker on my car. I can't believe I wrote down Catherine. So yeah, Caroline. And I was actually able to meet her way back at the beginning of her campaign. I didn't really know who she was, but she had just come up from Washington, and we were doing a Second Amendment class, and she came to it.
Oh,
it
neat.
was so awesome. She looked like a little kid at that time. I was like, how is she going to do anything?
Right. She just turned 25.
Yeah. So, but then she came to, I met her a couple times through the last year or so, and then she came to Raymond a couple months ago, and her speech was amazing. And she's like a New Hampshire homegrown girl. Her parents are hardworking family, and she went to the New Hampshire public schools, and she went to St. Anselm's College. And then she said in her speech that she saw an ad for Donald Trump, that he wanted somebody to help him on his staff. And she applied. She said it was pages long, and she didn't think she was really going to get it. But she got picked, and she was able to work in his correspondence office, which I think that would be so interesting. So she was able to read letters that got sent to Donald Trump and she was able to help respond to those letters. And she said throughout, after, the Donald Trump era was over in that sense, she went on to work for other senators and things. And so she was able to get experience. And she sounds like she was in line for the right experience. And it's like perfect timing for her to step into Congress in New Hampshire. So I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing what
I
she
think
does.
she worked for a congresswoman. I believe she
Yeah,
worked
I think
for
you're right.
Elise Stefanik.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And this
Okay.
is her. Her website is carolineforcongress.com, and it's Caroline with a K.
Okay. Yeah.
Carolineforcongress.com.
Yeah. And she's amazing. Like, her speeches are just so articulate. She knows what she's saying. And I've seen her in the debates. She's also in several debates that were televised. So I really hope,
Yeah, she is
things go well
articulate.
for
And
her.
she made a big deal about the fact that she was from New Hampshire. And it is true that sometimes we have people that aren't from New Hampshire and then they come here and run for our offices.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's kind of cool that New Hampshire grew such a great person.
that's true.
Not that we are great, because I was born in New Hampshire too, but just saying.
Well, I'm from Maine, so.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, my mother's parents both, spent many years. I don't know the whole history, but my mother's whole entire life was in New Hampshire. So, and I was born in New Hampshire, so I'm sort of one of those New Hampshire natives.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah. We moved here when I was 11, so I did go to the public schools. I did graduate from Salem High School.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Well, I went to a private high school, so I did graduate in New Hampshire, but just wasn't from the public school. So that's good too. I'm glad that New Hampshire has lots of choices that we can use for education. And then we have the person on your hat.
Yes.
I don't know if everybody knows who Don Bolduc is. I was able to meet him also in person, and he actually was in Raymond way back. I believe it was in 2021 when I took this. It was like the first part of that gun class that I took. And he gave us a speech about women and the Second Amendment and how important it is for us to, feel like we can also defend ourselves, and he was very personable. I mean, he's a very kind and just personable person, and I appreciate all that he has done for our country in his service to our country. And he's still trying to serve us. So I appreciate his willingness to step up and bring a conservative voice to our state in the Senate.
Yes, and this is the second time he ran for Senate. So he ran in 2020 and he didn't win the primary, but he won the primary this time. So he's actually been campaigning for more than 2 years. So he's got a lot of recognition now. And his website is donbolduc.com if you want to look him up.
Yeah, and he's got some meetings close by Raymond. I know that he's been in some towns close by doing different meetings. He's been in Kingston, Wyndham, Londonderry. So probably on that website you can see where he's going to be. And he came into Raymond. Was it a week or so ago? He went to New Life Church, I think.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. They actually, I'm not. Yeah, you're right. It should be on his website. I did get an email. He's going to be, let's see, today's the 29th. He's going to be tomorrow at the Atkinson Community Center, October 30th at 3:00. On November 1st, he'll be in Tilton. November 2nd. I guess there's a debate on November 2nd because it says November 2nd at 5:00. WMUR debate sine wave, New Hampshire Institute of Politics.
Okay, great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm sure he's really putting in the time right now.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's awesome. So,
Yep.
yeah, so also we have for running for governor, I know we have our current governor running, but we also have Karen Testerman who's still campaigning for a write-in. So that's kind of interesting. I've heard a lot of people that talk about still working on trying to get a write-in candidate. So we'll see what happens with that.
Hmm. Yes, we will.
Yeah, I appreciate Karen Testerman. I know that she has worked hard in a lot of other areas. She is a very well educated constitutional citizen, and she also has been doing a lot for the right to life uh, camp and everything. And so I really appreciate all she has done and her positive attitude. I have prayed with her at the state house in Concord, just praying for our state and praying for, just the Lord to have his way for the good in our state.
Well, he
So
might have other plans for Karen. We'll see.
we'll see. Yeah. I don't think she's going to sit down and just go away.
Yep, I think you're right about
I
that.
think she knows that the Lord has a plan for her here. So we will see what happens with that.
Yep. And I haven't personally talked to a lot of people that say they're discouraged and they're not going to vote, but I've talked to people who say that they have a lot of friends that don't want to vote. They don't think it makes a difference. And I wasn't that crazy about the results in 2020. I'm not convinced they were accurate, but I still think it's really important to vote. And there were changes made this year to make the results more accurate. For example, it used to be if you voted for two people in a spot, you were only supposed to vote for one. That's called an overvote, and the machine would just not count it at all. But now they've programmed the machine so that if there's an overvote, the machine kicks the ballot out, and the whole thing has to be hand counted. And it could be that the person who just made a stray mark on the ballot, they didn't actually vote for two people, but there was a stray pencil mark. And so the machine thought that the person voted for two people. So if a real person looks at that, they can probably really see, oh, the person meant to vote for this person. So that's going to make more votes count. So
Okay.
if you know anybody that says their vote doesn't make a difference, then just encourage them to vote, because I think it still does make a difference. I think it is still our civic duty to vote. Even if you not sure that the federal candidates will make much of a difference, there's state races and there's local races, and we need to have a say on those.
Right. I mean, it's hard because people say they don't want to vote, but in my mind, I have to do something, to show that what my position is, what I believe in, to show that I am exercising my right as a citizen. And in honor for all of those who fought for our country, to go and do something for our country. And ultimately, God has the final say. God has allowed things to be the way they are, and we don't know exactly why. It could be so that more of us would get back into studying our Constitution and get back into being the responsible citizen that our Constitution was made for. Our Constitution wasn't made so that we could, here's a piece of paper that will protect us for the rest of humanity. It's not going to work like that. We have to know what our rights are, and we have to stand up for them. Otherwise, we lose them. And I know you know that, Julie. That's what we're
Well,
doing.
that's true.
We're trying to
That's a good
inspire
point.
more people to, realize what your rights are. I mean, I had to do that myself. I actually have my my copy of the Constitution right here, and this was given to me by Karen Testerman way back in 2020. And this has the U.S. Constitution as well as the New Hampshire Constitution. And I keep this in my purse, and I say, you know, what does it say? What does this word mean and that word mean? And if we don't know our rights, we don't have any.
Very true.
If you don't know what your rights are, people aren't going to tell you what your rights are and say, here, you can have your rights. We have to know what they are, and we have to stand up for them. So
Right.
that's what this is all about. And that's what voting is all about. And I know that you're going to help. Are you going to help on November 8th?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I'm going to be there
6:15.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a long day, 6:15. Like, I know that the two of us were in the last March, we were like recording, watching, seeing what they do. And then we said, okay, we're going to step up and we're going to help. And then we realized it is a very long day. It is a lot of work. There is a lot of dedication that goes into it. But I know the last time I was really tired at the end of it, but I felt really good to be able to be a part of the whole process and to see everything that's going on. And,
Definitely.
you know, we always need more volunteers, and it's easy to criticize other people. It's a lot harder to get involved yourself. And that's what we need to do. Like, we need to take that next step and get involved ourselves. And I also enjoy getting to know more people in the town, like the people that I worked with. I enjoy getting to know them, and I enjoy getting to know the people that come up to the window and be able to talk to the people in the town. So it's a lot of good things to do, even though it's a long, hard day.
Yes, I agree. And they intentionally paired the workers, a Democrat with a Republican, which was great. So it was a person we probably didn't know that well, and we could get to know them. So it worked out.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Yes.
So it was good. I mean, I think that the person I worked with, I enjoyed getting to know, and we worked well together. Even though we probably filled out different ballots that day. So, yeah. So I heard the machines were tested the other day. Did you hear anything about that?
Yes, I had a friend who went down there, and she said they tested 3 machines. And she said they were done by about 1:15 or 1:30, and they actually asked her to sign as a witness.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, so they must have reconciled well to get done that early.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So
yeah, and it's good because
doing great.
Yeah, the town clerk now puts it on the website before she tests the ballots. So in the past, we really weren't aware that they tested the machines and when and where, and now we know.
Right.
So that's open to the public if anybody wants to go down and watch part of it or all of it.
Right. And the first time we went down to check, it took like all day. I had to leave before they were actually done.
Yeah.
So,
and for the primary, it took more than one day.
Interesting. But this time it only took a few hours. So
right. So
we're all set. The machines are good to go. Okay. So anyway, did you have anything else you wanted to add to our discussion today?
I would just like to say in closing that I'd like to encourage people to watch the last library meeting that's online. You can access it at RCTV, and it has over 100 views already. And it's just interesting. That's another thing that I guess I really wasn't aware of, that what types of books we've been buying at the library. And since it is taxpayer money, I think people should make themselves aware with the fact that there really is an agenda at the library.
Yeah,
because
and go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that, budget season is coming up. We're actually in budget season right now. We're going to be reviewing the budget for the school and the town in the next couple of months. And then there's a public hearing at the very beginning of January. It's almost like right after the New Year's holiday. And that's a required public hearing where people can come and say whatever they want to say, but they can come to any meeting. They can come to any budget committee meeting
Right.
and speak
That's
up.
the deliberative session, right? Are you talking about the
No,
deliberative? Oh,
no,
that's
I'm not talking
different.
about the deliberative.
Okay.
So the budget committee reviews the budgets, and we have a lot of meetings to do that. And people can
Okay.
come to any of those meetings that they want
Right.
to. But then we have to have a public hearing, which we announce 7 days ahead, and it's got to be in the newspaper. That's at the beginning of January. And then
Okay.
after the public gives their comment, that's when we finalize the budget. And then it goes to the deliberative session. The
Okay.
deliberative session is on a Saturday. This public hearing I'm talking about will probably be on a Tuesday night. If it snows, it could be on a Thursday night. But yeah, there's lots of times when the public can come say what they want to say about the budget.
Right.
You know, and if they have any good ideas about how to make the budget better, we'd like to hear them.
That would be awesome. Yeah. So that's great. Now, I did look up the American Library Association. So that would be another good thing if people are interested after they watch the library video on RCTV for Raymond Library. Look up the American Library Association and read a little bit about that. You might see how we ended up where we are today. But I feel like our library should be our library. Like, I don't think we should have to follow a national library association. So I think that's where the problem is. You know, it's our town library, and we should be able to deal with it the way we want to. And I thought one idea might be to either increase the number of trustees at the library so that we have more than just two that would filter through the books that are being purchased, or maybe have a team of parents that would filter out, you know, types of books and things like that. But it's just something we do need to have a discussion about, because we don't want to be responsible for actual some of that stuff could be illegal for kids to have their hands on. So I think that's important to keep in mind, that it's just not just a book. It's some of that stuff is very damaging to children. And
that's true. Currently there are 3 trustees. You had said 2, so I just there's 3 trustees.
Okay.
There were only 2 at that meeting, but there are 3.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention school board. This is the last minute. School board, it is now required by law to have a 30-minute open public comment time for the school board. So if you have anything you want to contribute to, you know, school board discussion type thing, we open it for 30 minutes, and we haven't really had anybody come in for public comment. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well. I think that's a really good idea to make. So if anyone has any comments they would like to present to the school board, the open public comment every school board meeting Wednesday night for 30 minutes. Now, if you can't attend meetings for the town, you can also go to Raymond TV, RCTV, and you can watch all of the videos. That's what I do sometimes when I can't make a meeting. I'll just watch it. You can either watch it live or you can watch the playback, and that's a great way to get to know people. I also, you know, we're trying to share information among each other. So if you just send us an email, let us know what kind of information you're looking for, and we can help you find that type of information. So thank you so much, Julie, for, you know, having this little coffee chat. It was really fun. I hope it's helpful to the people in town. Did you have anything else you wanted to add for the end of this video?
No, I don't think so, but I just want to thank you for setting this up and recording it. Like you said, I mean, people like to do their own research. We're just trying to get information out there to help them.
Right. And, you know, I found it really awesome how easy it is to get information. And like, I was just talking to one of my kids today. They were talking about some famous person. Did you know this famous person, blah, blah, blah? And I said, actually, that's not true. But I said, what you need to do is when you hear something about someone, nowadays you can go right to the source. You know, if it's some famous person, you can go listen to their video, or you can read a book that they wrote, or now you can go to Twitter, find out what they actually say, find out what they actually do believe. Don't just believe what people say about the candidates. You can find out what the candidate would say about themselves. And, you know, there's just so much information out there that it is good to find somebody who's reliable that you can talk to, but you can also find out information firsthand. You don't have to believe what someone else tells you. So I think that's really important. And we can even, like, you can go out on, like, go ride down at the corner by Walgreens, and you can look at all the names, write the names down of all the people on the signs, and you could look them up yourself. You know, what does Keith Murphy believe? What's on his website? What does Don Boldock believe? What's on his website? You know, and we can make informed decisions. I think we can make more informed decisions now than ever before. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. And you just made me think of something. There are groups too that look through people's voting records, and they give their, you know, they endorse people, or they at least make it easier for us so we don't have to do all the work ourselves. New Hampshire Right to Life does that. Cornerstone Policy Research does that. There's a group, New Hampshire House Alliance, and or New Hampshire Republican House Alliance, and they vote, they rate all the state reps on their records. And usually you can, so they'll give you a score, every state rep, based on how well they voted according to the Republican Party platform. And it even goes back. So it will give the score for this year, but then it will give the score for last year and the year before and the year before, so that you can actually see how well they are voting according to what the Republican platform is.
That is interesting too. Yeah, that's a whole new topic.
Yeah,
maybe for another day, because you can actually go on the state website and you can find out a lot of information as well, which I didn't know before. Like, you can find out all the reps' names, all their addresses, all their voting records, about every bill. I mean, it's just amazing information. But that's the problem nowadays, is we have so much information. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Right. So let me just give the website for the New Hampshire, the House Republican Alliance. So the website is nhra.org. So nhra.org. And they have a thing called, if you go under publications, they have something called Scorecards 2022. So if you click on that, you can either open it up by the score that they were given, or you can open it up by name, so it's alphabetical, or by county. So there's several ways you can look it up, to look up the person that you want to find out about.
Awesome. Yeah, that is great. Yeah, there's a lot of information. So people can't just vote and like hide their vote. It's going to be public
That's
knowledge. Right. Very good. Excellent. So much. Thank you so much for doing this video with me. I hope we can do it again sometime. And those of you who are watching, feel free to reach out to us if you want more information, and if you want us to maybe talk about another topic sometime in the future, we'd be glad to do that. So thank you for RCTV for all you do, and thank you for Julie, and thank you, Raymond.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.